It's a well-known fact that the way FF7 handles its main villain, Sephiroth, was inspired by the 1975 film Jaws. FF7 director Yoshinori Kitase has remarked on this a few times, most emphatically in a 2020 interview with AEW superstar Kenny Omega. My role was not so much creation, but how to use him in the world of Final Fantasy VII. I wanted Sephiroth to be not so much of a physical villain, more of an unknown threat that people only heard rumors about. Not many people had seen him, but the fear could be felt from the rumors of his existence. I drew a lot of inspiration from the movie Jaws. It was a shark movie, but you never saw the shark until long into the movie. Rather than seeing the threat, knowing and hearing of the threat was appealing to me, and I drew from this. At first, we only hear vague remarks about the former hero's exploits. We see a teenage Cloud expressing his intent to be like Sephiroth, and later watch President Shinra extol his talents. Mixed in are a few ominous hints that not all ended well with Shinra's #1 soldier. There are also indications that Sephiroth was exceptional in other ways. We get the sense his story extends to darker places than just war. These sinister clues climax with the unexpected slaying of President Shinra. But even at this point, we don't see Sephiroth himself, only his legendary katana. It isn't until the flashback at Qhimm, a good 6 to 8 hours into the game, that we finally see the man everyone is in awe of. That said, this is merely a memory of Sephiroth, and the illusions later conjured through Jenova are only echoes of the man behind the curtain. Sephiroth's true, present-day form won't be witnessed for quite a while, not until we've finished well over half the game's story. The way FF7 pulls players along with Sephiroth's slow reveal, gradually raising the stakes through the threat he poses, is a crucial component of the game's storytelling success. However, this masterclass in narrative escalation wasn't always so seamless. In fact, all the way up to the months before FF7 went gold, Sephiroth was slated to appear much earlier in the story. How early, you ask? About 1 hour in. Six days before FF7's Japanese retail release, eager fans were treated to the FF7 official establishment file. This 97-page encyclopedia included a wealth of information about Square's upcoming RPG, including character bios, location descriptions, and summon designs. The OEF also included a wealth of screenshots from the yet-to-be-released game. Almost all of these will look familiar to FF7 fans, but a few won't. That's because the OEF includes screenshots from one of FF7's last beta builds. This particular image comes from a scrapped scene outside of 7th Heaven in the Sector 7 slums. Ordinarily, Cloud recounts his promise with Tifa while the two are inside the bar. The scene transitions to the water tower in Nibelheim, where a young Cloud and Tifa talk beneath the stars. Afterward, we return to the interior of the bar, where Cloud eventually agrees to participate in another mission with Avalanche. However, this isn't originally how the sequence went. In the game's earlier build, Cloud actually exits 7th Heaven without agreeing to help Avalanche. Tifa then follows him out of the bar. In a last attempt to stop him leaving, she reminds Cloud of their childhood history. Thus, we come full circle to that screenshot from the OEF. But let's continue watching this scene. there's a whole lot more to see. As before, Tifa brings up the promise she and Cloud made, though you'll notice they have an audience this time. Cloud seems unable to recall, so Tifa tries to jog his memory. Instead of saying 7 years ago, she states the two were 13 at the time, a piece of trivia verified in FF7 Rebirth.
Hey Cloud, remind me, how old were you when you left home?
14. Wait, it was spring, so 13.
We once again transition to the promise scene at the water tower in Nibelheim. It plays out mostly the same as before, with some notable cut lines about Cloud's obsession with Sephiroth. Otherwise, the scene is essentially unchanged. Back in front of Seventh Heaven, Cloud and Tifa continue to chat. You'll recognize the first few lines here. They're the same ones we see in the final version of the scene. But suddenly, things diverge. Tifa asks Cloud what he plans to do next. Cloud responds that he's going to search for Sephiroth. From Tifa's response, we learn that our villain is believed dead, and Cloud isn't able to confirm otherwise. We further learn that Cloud has a grudge against Sephiroth. It's revealed that the once great war hero did something terrible to his and Tifa's hometown. Cloud's comments seem to unsettle Tifa, who's surprised he remembers the incident. This is, of course, an early hint that Cloud's memory doesn't quite match with Tifa's.
Has been 5 years.
Huh?
So far, things aren't so bad, right? We just got a little background on Sephiroth. Sure, it pushes ahead some plot points, but it doesn't spoil our villain's suspense. Well, not so fast. There's still more to see. Eventually, Cloud returns to Seventh Heaven, much to Tifa's relief. President Shinra is about to read a statement on public TV. In the final game, this text can be optionally read on the TV downstairs, but here the player is forced to see it. After the broadcast, Tifa once again implores Cloud to keep fighting with Avalanche. At this point, the player must agree in order to progress the plot. Cloud and Tifa then approach the pinball machine so that they can descend to the hideout. However, on the way down, something strange happens. Cloud starts shaking. The next moment, he's in an empty black void. Tifa has seemingly vanished. Cloud begins running, confused about where he is and what direction he's headed. There seems to be no end in sight. Then suddenly, we get our first glimpse of one of gaming's most menacing villains. The scene then transitions to a familiar setting. It's the truck bed from the Nibelheim flashback Cloud shares at Qhimm. However, you won't recognize any of the dialogue. It's possible this conversation happened before the one we witness later. At any rate, this is our first clear look at Sephiroth, and we're only about an hour into the game. After this short flashback, Cloud comes to in Seventh Heaven's basement, with the members of Avalanche all peering down at him. Instead of asking for more money, Cloud ends up joining in on the next mission for free. The remainder of the scene acts as an introduction to materia, tying it back in with the hallucination Cloud just had. We're left to wonder precisely what Cloud's relationship was with this mysterious Sephiroth. But thanks to Cloud and Tifa's exchange in front of the bar, we already know Sephiroth did something terrible to Nibelheim before allegedly perishing himself. When asked by Barrett why he decided to quit Soldier, Cloud deflects the question. Barrett's abrasive personality and Cloud's dismissive attitude cause friction once more, and the matter is soon forgotten. Ultimately, the crew turn in for the night. Taking Kitase's comments into account, it's not hard to guess why this substantial sequence was cut. The game's creators likely felt these scenes revealed too much about Sephiroth and undermined the ominous image they were aiming for. Instead, they chose to delay Cloud's first-hand account of his nemesis and continued establishing Sephiroth through vague allusions alone. But what do you think? Did FF7's devs make the right call by scrapping these scenes at the last second? Could this extra exposition about Sephiroth have remained without spoiling his slow reveal? Whatever the case, it's hard to understate just how expertly Sephiroth is handled in FF7. His place among gaming's most memorable villains is truly well-deserved.